Good afternoon, good evening, good night to all of you. We are here to participate and prepare for paper 1 in human and social biology. We're just waiting for persons to join up. As we get ready, we want to look at what could possibly come for this January 2025 paper 1. The paper 1 is to be held a few days from now, Friday coming to be exact. It is a PM exam, so that means 1 p.m. AST time. The exam will be held. That is the 17th. So we want to make sure we are properly prepared for that. And we will do more lives for this. So in the coming days, you could tune in at about this time, and we will be doing some lives for human and social biology. All of this is for the 1. That's what we are doing. We are trying to get you that 1. It will be great if you could get all A's in the profile. Yeah. So let's just give a couple seconds for persons to join in. And just to let you know, this is not the only thing that is there for you to participate in the exam. You could join even CSEC to go, right? That is a free initiative to help persons out in their practice, in their preparation for the exam. So good evening again to you. Tell us where you're joining from, which territory you are in, which territory you are doing the exam from. Yeah, we would love to know. We would love to know. Yeah. Love to know where you all are, where you would be doing the exam, where you will be getting your 1. The whole Caribbean does, not the whole Caribbean, but quite a few territories in the Caribbean does CSEC. So let's get into it and see what it's about. Right, I think we have quite enough time. Let's get persons into it. And someone is asking us if we can do POB. POB. We do different subjects at different times. I can't promise a POB. But right now we are interested in HSB. So let's get into it. So as you know, this syllabus, this specific syllabus for HSB came into effect in 2022, the June 2022 exam. And that means June 2022 was the first exam, and likewise subsequent exams in 2023, 2024, and this exam in 2025 is under this syllabus. All right? Is under this syllabus. Likewise, the May-June exam in 2025, but if there's anybody here doing May-June exam, you will also be doing an exam based on this syllabus. All right. It is a different syllabus from previous syllabus, meaning they have made alterations, but don't be so much worried about what was in and what's in. Just prepare for your syllabus and continue on, right? The aim, the objective of all of this is to get a 1 and move on. So how is the weighting for paper 1? Paper 1 is worth 30% of the total mark, which means the paper 2 that has already gone was worth 50% of the total mark. The paper 3 that is to come, the alternative paper, which is also after this exam, meaning it's also on Friday. Both exams are happening together. They run one before the other, and there is supposed to be a 15 minutes break in between. Yeah, when exams stack up like that. For those are for private candidates, right? So the private candidates will do the paper 3. Those who do not have an SB because of how they registered to do CSEC. So that paper is worth 20%. And should we do paper 3? Should we do paper 3 videos? Should we do paper 3 lives? Are any of you doing paper 3? You could let us know if we should probably do some paper 3 videos to help you prepare. But for right now, we want to look at paper 1 and see some of the questions, see some of the explanations on why certain answers become the better answer and why some are not good answers. The objective is to get the best answer. All right. So if you get the full 30%, which is what we're aiming for, this is about the 1. You are very good. You basically set, because I know persons aced the paper 2. Many persons used our videos and aced paper 2, right? So now we want you to ace paper 1, and I am seeing in the chat that persons are saying we should do some paper 3s. So maybe we should do paper 3s so that you could ace that too, and then we will have achieved our objective of getting the 1. So before we start off, I am your favorite principal, helping you do these human and social biology questions. I will walk you through some of them. Some of them may seem very obvious to you, but nevertheless, we will go through them. It will take us some time, so thanks for joining me this evening. This is all about the 1. All right, so let's start off with item 1. And today I'm not so much focusing on time management. I just want you to get accustomed to the questions. This is the June 2024 paper 1. So this is the latest exam that has passed. This would have been done last year in the May-June exams. So we're using it as a good base to start off. So let's get into it. The first question refers to the following aquatic food chain. So if we are on question 1, you know that multiple choice, if you have watched any of our other videos, follows the same pattern in section A, section B, section C, section D, section E. It follows the alphabet, right? So question 1 was obviously from section A. Likewise, as the questions, the numbers increases and numbers pass, different sections will come up in that order. It's always in that order. CXC is not trying to trick you. It's always in that order. The same order you learned it in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, it's always in that order. So question 1 will obviously always be from section A, and question 60 will obviously always be from section E. Phytoplankton eaten by zooplankton, eaten by fish, eaten by water bird. The producer in this food chain is the first organism, is the producer. The first organism is generally some kind of plant that could generate its own food, could generate organic matter from inorganic matter. We know that is called photosynthesis. So we are looking for phytoplankton, which makes the answer D. Simple enough, yeah? Which of the following features is not common to all living organisms? And you see that not coming out there in capital letters. So it means they want you to pay attention to it. Using food to produce energy, producing identical cells in reproduction, getting rid of metabolic waste products, releasing energy by a process of respiration. Yeah, and it wanted to be not common to all living things. Using food to produce energy, yeah, that's kind of really common. Getting rid of metabolic waste, that's literally the definition of excretion, right? Releasing energy by a process called respiration. It literally tells you the name of the process, right? Respiration. But producing identical cells in reproduction, there are different ways you could reproduce. All of them don't have to be identical cells, right? So B is the one that stands out as being the not. All right, and you all could give me your answers in the chat as we are going along. You would have enough time. You could suggest your answers, say what reason you chose your answer for as we go on to question 3 and 4, which refers to this diagram of osmosis that is demonstrated. The main function of the Viskin tube is to act as so we have a nice Viskin tube here, and we have a sugar solution of 40% inside the Viskin tube and 20% sugar solution outside. Yeah, all of this is contained within a beaker. So if this is osmosis, they told us osmosis is demonstrated, so we know it is osmosis. We know osmosis is the movement of water particles from high concentration, low concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. All right, so water particles are moving, and the semi-permeable membrane, where they have to pass through a semi-permeable membrane. So we are going with the semi-permeable membrane. It's in the definition. Which of the following processes occurs after several hours? Which of the following processes occurs after several hours? Remember, this question 4 refers to the same diagram. So read your answers and see which one would happen if a couple hours pass. Water moves from the Viskin tube to the beaker. So water from inside the tube comes out into the beaker. Water moves from the beaker into the Viskin tube. So from the beaker into the tube. Sugar moves from the beaker into the Viskin tube. This is osmosis, so no sugar should be moving. We shouldn't even be talking about sugar particles. So that means C and D are incorrect. And what if it's osmosis, meaning from high to low? We are talking about, I'm checking the chat to see what persons are saying. So water is moving from the beaker into the Viskin tube. Yeah, this Viskin tubing, yeah, it's a semi-permeable membrane, right? It will prevent the sugar particles from moving, but water particles will be able to move freely. All right, so far, all from section A. The site of photosynthesis in plants. So it means we have to remember the organelles in plants, and we know one of the organelles contain a pigment, chlorophyll, that allows plants to do photosynthesis. What is the name of the organelle that contains that pigment, chlorophyll? And it's so easy to figure this one out simply because of association. Yeah, you hear chloroplast, and when you think in chlorophyll, and you say, yeah, that sounds about right. Stomata, stem, and root. I have no idea why they put such wrong answers, but 5 has to be A. Yeah, has to be A, and I am seeing persons in the chats giving their answers, and they are correct. So far, they are correct. No problems there. So let's move on to question 6. We see the digestive system, or at least part of it, and they have some Roman numerals first 1, 2, and 3. So we could identify the parts because you are supposed to learn the placement of your organs and tissues in the body. You might not have to know extremely all, but you are expected to know the general layout of the significant ones. So from this Roman numeral 1, we know this is the liver. It is on the right-hand side of the body. Remember, drawings and diagrams, they are always you, right? They're always you. So if you are watching the diagram, the right side is your left side, and the left side is your right side. All right, so Roman numeral 2 is the stomach, and Roman numeral 3 is the intestines, the small one. Yeah. And if it kind of high up, so we know if you start to specialize, it's the first part of the small intestine. The small intestines is divided into, well, it's not really high up. They kind of draw it weird. It's kind of low down. So maybe it might be the third part. Based on this drawing, the proportion, the small intestine is divided into 3 parts. So maybe it's the third part based on the drawing. Nevertheless, the question, which of the following correctly matches each numbered structure to its function? We already identified the organs that they were, the liver, the stomach, and the small intestine. So we just need to match them up correctly. So for 6, the one that will make the match, we know the liver produces bile. It already tells us which one is the correct answer. The gastric juices, we're talking about the stomach there. And if we are talking about the absorption of the end product of digestion, we are talking the small intestines. So it makes C the correct answer. Question 7. Items refers to the following label diagram of a tooth. I see someone is asking if we're doing paper 2 for January 2025. Should we do it? I know paper 2 has already gone. I guess we could do it and just release it as a video so that persons could gauge and see how they were performing. Yeah, that would be great. If anyone has a spectacular copy, do feel free to send it to us. Our copy may not have been the best copy, but if you have a really good copy, you can always send it to us. Which of the labeled parts contain blood vessels and nerves? So we have this tooth here. We have the crown. The crown is the part that you see when you smile. The part in the gum is the root, which holds the tooth. Yeah. So the part that contains blood vessels and nerves, you're talking about the pulp or the pulp cavity. They contained within here. So that is 3. 1 is the enamel, the hardest substance in the human body. 2 is the dentine, and 4, Roman numeral 4, is cementum or tooth cement. Yeah, depending on which textbook you may have learned, you may have seen it written as cementum. You may have seen it written in some of the newer books as cement, meaning tooth cement. Yeah, so the answer is Roman numeral 3, which makes number 7 C. Number 8, which of the following teeth aid in grinding food into smaller pieces? This is one of my favorite questions. Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. I don't think I know anyone who has ever admitted to getting this question wrong. Everybody, it should automatically jump out. And I'm saying this because I hoped and I know to be doing CXE mean everyone has been eating nearly every day for their whole life. One of my favorite questions. It's the high point where education meets reality. You've been eating, you've been chewing. Everyone knows this. Yeah? Everyone knows this. So it is B, the molars and premolars for grinding, for chewing. Yeah? All the gum. And boy, do my students like to chew gum. Right? So always molars and premolars. Question 9 and 10 refers to the following bar chart, which shows the composition of 4 foods. And there will always be a question. I don't know if persons know this. There will always be a question that gives you graphical data and require you to do something. Right? There will always be a graphical question. And I see someone in the group, Lionel, explaining his answer. That's awesome. That's a great explanation, Lionel. Right? But back to question 9 and 10. We have protein at the top, fat. Well, B doesn't have any fat. We could see that. Carbohydrate, A has no carbohydrate. And water, C has no water. Right? So if you were thinking what kind of food doesn't have any water? Something, it will have protein, fat, and carbohydrate, but no water. What's that? I was thinking something like a cereal, there's dehydrate them, some kind of, but it won't have any. Oh, like a seed. Do persons eat, but then it must have fats, right? So this food or whatever for C must be something dehydrated. A, we see A not having any carbohydrate. Well, that one is easy. Yeah. Oh, no fat in B. That one is easy too. That one is easy as well. But C is an interesting one that it doesn't have any water. But anyway, which of the foods above is most likely a cereal? Look, that's what we were talking about. Which one is a cereal, right? It has to have a cereal. Yeah, they kind of dehydrated and stiff and hard, but it will still have some semblance of water, right? They wouldn't have fats because they're cereal. Think of your corn flakes. Think of your frosted flakes. There is no fat in it. All right. So for number 9, we are going with D. Yeah, let me just write a D. How could I? Let me just write in D for you. For number 9. All right. Number 10, which of the foods above is not suitable for a person suffering from arteriosclerosis? That not means you don't want the person to like that. And that will, if the person is suffering from arteriosclerosis, remember, fat is spilling over and being stored, and the arteries are getting hard, they're getting clogged. Once you are talking about arteries and stuff, you know you are talking about foods containing fat. So for number 10, we are going with C. It is not suitable because it has a large, look at this chunk of fat in the food. All right. So for 10, we are going with C as the answer. Number 11. And let me take this opportunity to let you all know that do check out the description for this video. You have the opportunity to join CSEC to Go, which allows you to practice questions with the time management. Yeah, the CSEC to Go is a free initiative. You could click the link to sign up, and it's not just for HSB. There are other subjects that it's done for. The link is provided for you in the video, in the description of this video, and you could choose to do HSB only, or you could sign up for all the others as well. They practice paper 1 questions at specific times, so do check that out. Yeah, it happens via WhatsApp. So check that out, join up. It is one of the initiatives that Early to CXC offers to help students get their ones. Yeah. So number 11, during the process of digestion, bile salts aid in doing what? Yeah. And anytime you think in digestion and bile salts, think about emulsification. If you're not too sure what emulsification is, think of having a chunk of something and taking bits out of it. So if you have a big circle disc, think about cutting smaller circles out of it. That's a simplistic way to explain emulsification. Yeah. So 11 is the question 12. Which of the following phrases best describes egestion? Right? Removal of salts and bile, removal of metabolic waste from the body. No, that's excretion. Don't let this one trick you. Removal of undigested food from the alimentary canal. We all nod in our heads there. Let's see what D has. Build-up of simple molecules produced during digestion. So we are sticking with C. We are sticking with C for question 12. Yeah. Question 13, which of the following is not, those capital letters, they give us a great hint there, is not a function of the colon? Is it absorption of water in the body into the body? That is a function of the colon, so the not makes it the wrong answer. Absorption of mineral salts into the body. We have to see to figure out if that could be the best answer. Absorption of digestive food material into the body. No, that should be the small intestines. Let's go to the brief storage of undigested food material in the body. Yeah, that's a better answer. That's the best answer. Yeah, it is not a function of the colon. Brief storage. The colon is not supposed to store. All right, the colon is not supposed to store. We have the rectum going into the anus. That's a temporary storage of undigested food. But the colon is not supposed to store. The colon, you are supposed to pass the food. You want to be eating your roughage, your fiber, and drinking water to pass it. If you're becoming constipated, which is what this is saying, right? Brief storage of undigested food material in the body. If that's happening in the colon, we call that constipation. All right. But the colon isn't supposed to be a storage organ. All right. Question 14. Which of the following vitamins is water soluble? And the way I remember this is I do WBC and then it's AD. Well, we all know BC and AD, right? So that makes it W is BC and then fat is AD. Yeah. So that puts the answer at vitamin C. Going on to question 15. See how many questions you're getting from the alimentary canal, the nutrition, the digestive system. All of that is one topic in section B. Yeah? All these questions is one topic. This is nutrition. Which of the following represents the correct sequence of events in the formation of a dental cavity? So we know the abscess is the end, the outcome, and we want to start with some plaque because you would have needed to probably not care for your teeth, not brush your teeth. So yeah, and then we know dentine is under enamel. So if you have plaque on your teeth, the plaque is on your enamel. All right, so we go in that order. We have the plaque, we have the enamel, we have the dentine creating an abscess, a cavity. Yeah, so in that order, that puts us at C. All right, the plaque is on your teeth, the enamel is here. Outer, the thing when you see the whites that you see when you smile, yeah, the dentine is under the enamel. And we know once they keep eroding all of this, you are in trouble. You're getting a cavity. Depending on how bad it gets, the tooth may die, you might need to do a root canal, etc. Yeah, but proper hygiene for our mouth will prevent all of this from happening. So which of the following substances found in cigarette smoke is addictive? I think this is one of the easiest questions. It's easy because it's so common, it's so well known. Yeah, nicotine is one of the most addictive substances in the world. Yeah, so it's such a well-known thing that it becomes a really easy question. All right. So 16b, question 17 refers to the following graph. We have someone smoking cigarettes. How many cigarettes is smoking a day? It increases on the x-axis, and their risk of developing lung cancer is on the y-axis. We see 10, 20, 30 times as the cigarettes smoked per day increase. So they are asking us, which of the following can be deduced from the graph? So for this one, you have to read all the responses before selecting. So A, as the number of cigarettes smoked per day increases, the risk of getting lung cancer increases. I already know that this is the answer. B, as the number of cigarettes smoked per day increases, the risk of getting lung cancer decreases. No, the graph is going up. As the number of cigarettes smoked per day decreases, the risk of getting lung cancer increases. All right? That, because the risk is going up as the number of cigarettes smoked increases. When 30 cigarettes are smoked per day, the risk of getting lung cancer 10 times. No, look, 30 here, 30 is on 20. All right. So A is the correct answer for question 17. Take your time, read this. This question is designed to burn through some of your time. That's the purpose of this question. Their questions have different objectives. They do different things. This question is designed to burn through your answer. So in some other papers, you may have seen them shift the answer wrong to a different location, a different letter. So you have to read them all. Yeah, you have to read them all. You don't need to speed read, because if you're doing proper time management, you will be on track. Question 18. During a sprint, muscles in the human body produce lactic acid by a process of anaerobic respiration. Remember, a sprint is where you are not relaxed. It's an intense activity. You are exerting yourself. That means your body is using up more oxygen than it can take in. All right? So it means you are in an oxygen debt, which you know happens with anaerobic respiration. So the glucose is being broken down, ATP is being produced without oxygen, and you know that as anaerobic respiration, D. Question 19, during respiration, the release of energy in a cell occurs when, and when I teach this like a battery, like your phone battery. You know, you charge your phone, you make up the ATP. When you use when you use your phone and you're running down the battery, it means you're using up the ATP, which means you are making ADP. All right? So I use a phone. Everyone knows how a phone works. So ATP is converted to ADP. adenosine triphosphate is converted to adenosine diphosphate, right? So 3 phosphates to start off. When the bond breaks, energy is released and it becomes 2 phosphate bonds, di. So for 19, we are going with A. Um, 20. Capillaries have thin walls which have only one layer of cells. This is to allow the rapid diffusion. Rapid because that's the point of having something thin, right? These thin walls, you want things to move fast. And if we're talking about capillaries, we're talking about gases, we're talking about substances being transported. Yeah? So gases and glucose are very likely to be substances that are being transported. Right? So for question 20, we are going with B. Yeah. And if you are paying attention to the syllabus, you know that after nutrition comes respiration. Yeah. After respiration, it is circulation, which is what we are seeing, coming here. All right. So question 21, high blood pressure most likely leads to, if we're talking about a circulatory system, what's the main thing with your circulatory system? Your heart. So which one likely refers to your heart? Cardiac problems, yes. Cardiac muscle is found in your heart, right? It's one of the 3 types of muscles you would have come across, the other 2 being skeletal muscles and smooth muscles. So cardiac muscles is the 3rd kind. Question 22. Which of the following statements describes the lymphatic system in humans? It is part of the circulatory system, one of whose function is to transport fat. Okay, that's interesting. It is a circulatory system consisting of tissue, fluid, lymph, and plasma. Oh, that kind of really explains it. It has a very small role to play in fighting off organisms. Is it less than the immune system? Yes, but I wouldn't call it a small role. It consists of lymph and tissue fluids only. Only makes D absolutely wrong. All right, but obviously multiple choice is about choosing the best answer. So like many of you, I will choose B for number 22. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So we've seen circulatory system here. More on circulatory system in 23. Red blood cells contain no nucleus because, is it because they just don't feel like having a nucleus? No, but let's go with the responses they give. They are too small. They have hemoglobin. They are biconcave. This improves their oxygen carrying capacity. Oh, all these answers are correct, meaning they are real things about red blood cells, but we want the one that is the best. And it does improve their oxygen carrying capacity. D is our answer. All right, D is what answer. I would encourage you to keep track of how you are going, your answers matching up to my answers. Just keep track to see where you are making a mistake. So knowing where you need to correct yourselves, maybe do a little more revision in that specific topic. Right now we are on circulation topic. That would be the third topic in section B. Which of the following best describes the function of a pacemaker in the heart? Yeah, increases the heart rate, regulates the heart rate, and decreases the heart rate, prevents the heart from overworking. All these things, they are trying to say the same thing, but saying it in different versions. And the best word to have used is regulate. So increase is a form of regulation. Decrease is a form of regulation. Prevent from overworking is a form of regulation. So it makes B for 24 the best answer. Yeah. Item 25, the following diagram of a human arm. So you see them going into musculoskeletal. Yeah, which is the next topic after circulation. And after musculoskeletal, we see excretion. All right. So 25 means we are going into another topic, the musculoskeletal system. When the arm is bent or flex, all right? So bent is flex, just whichever word you are accustomed to, but you are required to know both of them. The arm is bent or flex, right? And by the arm, they mean the forearm, right? What happens? The tricep shortens, the scapula is pulled down, tricep pulls on the ulna, bicep pulls on the radius. Now, please remember that your bicep is connected to the radius and the tricep is connected to the ulna. All right? So once you have that imprinted on your brains, this question becomes really easy. And we know the bicep pulls on the radius. Yeah? And the tricep extends, right? It lengthens, it gets longer, it relaxes. All right? So the tricep shortens was obviously a very, very wrong answer. So question 25, the answer is D. All right. 26. Let's looking at 26. This is still on musculoskeletal system. Which of the following joints allows movement in all directions? And I encourage my students, if you do not, for some reason, know this, just move your body. I'm not telling you get up and walk around the exam room. No. Just move. You know where your knee is? See if your knee can move in all directions. You know where your ankle is? See if your ankle can move in all directions. You know where your elbow is? See if your elbow could move. You know where your shoulder is? See if your shoulder can move. And yes, your shoulder will be able to move in all directions. Yeah? So it could move 360 degrees, up, down, left, right, front, back, in a circle. Yes, your shoulder is the one that could do that. So 26 is D. 27 refers to the following diagram, a part of the human skeleton. And we have letters X, Y, and Z. And just pay close attention and realize that Z is pointing to the outer bone of the leg, the thinner bone. Yeah? The thinner bone of the leg it is pointing to, right? That's my hint giving you the answer, right? I try to teach students it that way, that Z is the thin bone, that Y is the thick bone. All right, so I hope persons are getting my hints, right? So X, what is X? Obviously, X is the femur, right? That thigh bone, the femur, is the longest bone in the human body. All right, X is the femur. Y, that thick bone, the tibia, and Z, that flimsy bone, the fibula. All right, so B for 27. Need to reduce the magnification in this for you to see 28. Which of the following diagrams represent the pelvic girdle? You just have to know this visually. A, you could see that that is your shoulder area. You see the collarbone swooping right here. B, well, that is a pelvic girdle. C, you see this is a vertebrae, but it's really, really magnified. The spinal cord will go through the center here. D, you know that is down by the coccyx if you are looking up right here. That is D, right? But they ask for the whole pelvic girdle. That means they want the whole pelvic region, the kind of bones that come together to form it. So for 28, the answer is B. Let's go over to 29. 29, we see we are into homeostasis, which means this is excretion, osmoregulation, homeostasis. All of that is one topic. So 29, which of the following describes homeostasis? Maintenance of a constant internal environment. We already read the first answer and got the answer. A is the right answer. Yeah, A is the right answer. Items 30 and 31 refer to the following simplified diagram of a kidney tubule. All right, so you know these are inside your kidneys and the different parts. Make it a little smaller. The different parts of it. A, the afferent arteriole. D, the efferent arteriole. We have the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus here. And then we go downwards into the first convoluted tubule. So let's answer the question. Items 30 and 31, each label part may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Which label part collects filtrate from the glomerulus? This area here is the glomerulus. So filtrate means it must be squeezed out. So if we look at the arrows that are squeezing the things out, and if you notice there are 5 things because it's 5 substances that get squeezed out, right? So B, it's squeezed out and goes into the B area. So for question 30, we'll put B. We just write it in because question 31 also focuses on this. So which, and that means, which label part brings blood to the glomerulus? So we have the afferent. A is the afferent arteriole. D is the efferent arteriole. So A, we know the difference. There is a difference in size for them, but A is the entry point. D is the leaving point. All right. So A for question 31 is A, which means we have just about done over the halfway mark of these questions. Do remember to subscribe to the channel. You can like these videos, hit that notification bell. Early to CSEC, we are very much interested in getting you that one. Let's continue with question number 32. Item 32 refers to the following diagram of a human brain. We see they have 4 parts of the human brain identified for us. Which part of the human brain is responsible for conscious thought? Conscious thought means you have to think about it. So if you are thinking about it, you know your cerebrum has to come into play. That's the part where, and they say you have 2 hemispheres, the right hemisphere, the left hemisphere. Yeah, your cerebrum, the biggest part of the brain. All right. So A is your answer. Which of the following occurs when blood sugar levels rise above normal? If we are talking about blood sugar level, we're not talking about adrenaline. We're talking about insulin. All right? So it means for question 33, A and B already out. So we only have to consider C and D. If your blood sugar level rises above normal, you want more insulin because you want to get the blood sugar levels down. Which one says that? Insulin secretion is increased. So it means D is the correct answer. Question 34. This question is human and social biology most popular question. The central nervous system is made up of the brain and spinal cord. This, and I'm talking about all the papers, right? Paper 1, 2, 3. This is the most popular question in human and social biology. If you don't know this question, it means you have never looked at a past paper, right? But the brain and the spinal cord makes up the CNS. So 34, the answer is A. Which of the following is a voluntary action? Eating, well, involuntary, right? Meaning you can't control it. Which one is involuntary? You can't control it. It happens automatically. It happens while you're sleeping, while you're standing up. Whether you're thinking about it or not thinking about it, it's happening. Is it eating, walking, breathing, or riding a bike? You know, much people can't ride a bike. So it definitely can't be that one. Eating and walking. Eating does require plenty effort sometimes, eh? Yeah. To make the food, you might be cooking for however long just to be able to eat for 5 minutes. No, it can't be that one. Walking, no, you just had a thing to go to walk. You don't just go and walk to the grocery, walk to the supermarket by luck. You just had to say, yeah, I plan to do this. So breathing is the only one that you don't have to think about. It happens when you're sleeping and all. Could you imagine if you fell asleep and forgot to breathe? You will just continue living like normal. Item 36 refers to the following diagram of a longitudinal section through a human eye. All right? And they ask you the part labeled X is the, and I always identify this for my students because I like to clear up the part about your pupil being colored. The pupil is not the colored part. The iris is the colored part. So whether our eyes are dark brown, they're black, they're blue, they're green, they're whatever color they are, it's your iris that has the color. Yeah? So my students always get this question right. A, the iris, right? So X is pointing to the iris. So this is the nervous system here, wrapping up. This is nerves. This is the eye. Remember, the eye is part of the nervous system, the senses. All right, coordination and control is this topic. And then we are going into reproduction, which is the final topic in section B. And this question with ovulation means reproduction. All right, so let's check it out. Ovulation is the process by which a female becomes pregnant. What? What? A male and a female gamete fuse. Oh my gosh, I feel like the answer is getting worse. An egg is implanted in the uterus. This is madness. A mature egg is released into the oviduct. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that answer was there. I'm so glad the answer was there. I was getting scared for a second. Those A, B, and C couldn't even be more wrong. All right. So ovulation is the release of a mature egg into the oviduct. Yeah. 37 is D. Let's go on to 38. I see someone is asking me to upload this video. Yes, this video will be there for you to watch back. You could watch back tomorrow, or you could join us at about the same time again, where we will do more practice on another paper, or you could join CXE to go as well. Yeah. So check out the description and you'll be able to join up. Item 38 refers to the following diagram, which shows light rays passing through the pupil of the eye. Yeah. The image that is formed is inverted, not inverted, formed behind the retina, formed in front of the retina. And we have, when we look at this diagram, I hope this diagram doesn't confuse persons, right? We have light coming off. They have area where image is formed, right? It's supposed to fall on the retina. They identify the retina first. It's supposed to fall on the retina. And what is supposed to happen? What does happen to the image? When you just look at it, you see the image is formed in front of the retina, way in front, because this is the retina. Look, they identify the retina here. And look at where this image is forming. It's way in front, right? By forming, we mean where the lines cross, right? It's way in front. It's definitely not behind the retina. There's nothing here, all right? So it falls way in front. So 38 is the menstruation in the human female begins when ovulation starts. Estrogen levels are high, progesterone levels are high, the uterine wall breaks down. 39. What is menstruation? The breaking down of the uterine walls. Nice. 39 is D. Question 40, which means we are about 2/3 through with the paper. I hope persons were keeping track of how much they're getting correct, which topic they are doing better in. Some persons do better in section A, some persons do better in section B in a specific topic. Just try your best to keep track or be familiar. I'm not saying you have to write down every score. If you want to do that, that's fine as well. But just keep track so you know where to put in a little more revision, a little more effort. Yeah. All right. So we have male reproductive system, and they ask which of the following correctly identifies the structures labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yeah, simple thing is to go in order. What is 1? You are thinking the sperm duct, then you will be correct. Yeah. So we have 2 options with the sperm duct, A and C. What is 2? 2 is passing through the penis, so that has to be the urethra. Right? So straight away, we already seeing that C is the answer. So 3, the prostate gland, yes, and seminal vesicles for 4. Yes. Those two tissues release fluids to help make semen. So C is your answer for question 40. All right. Which of the following methods of female contraception functions by preventing sperm from entering the uterus? If you want to prevent something from entering something, you know you need to have some kind of physical stopping method. That's called a barrier. Right? That's a barrier. When you want to prevent someone from entering your property, you might put up a fence, whether it's a wall, bricks, you might use, galvanized. So you put up a barrier to prevent that person from crossing into your property. So likewise, a similar thing with this, the barrier you put up. Question 42. And we see now that we are transitioning into section C. All right, so section C. And all the papers followed a similar pattern. They might deviate by 1 or 2 questions, but the pattern is there. And if you watch more of our videos, some of them we go into more detail into the pattern and even identify it out for you. But the pattern is there. Remember, I say it follows the order, section A to section E, alphabetically. Right? So the process illustrated above is where we have DNA in a cell, and that DNA is duplicated, and it ends with 2 diploid cells. Diploid, it's not, don't confuse it with haploid. Haploid is half, diploid is whole. So we have 2 identical cells as when we started. That is a giveaway that the process is mitosis. So 42 is A. Item 43 refers to the following information. The following genotypes are given for 2 parents, both of whom can roll their tongues, right? Remember, non-tongue rolling is a recessive trait. It is one of the genetic crosses that is in the syllabus for you to practice, along with sickle cell, some sex-linked hemophilia, and color blindness. All right. Sex, meaning the XY or XX, you are supposed to practice that. All of these you are supposed to practice. So tongue rolling is one of them that you are supposed to practice. So they expect you to know that non-tongue rolling is a recessive outcome, right? And for a recessive gene, a recessive allele to show up, it means it must be homozygous recessive. Which of the following genotypes are not possible for any of their offspring? And this is a good place for you to do a Punnett square right on this space here. See all this space here? If you're doing the exam, you do a Punnett square and see which of these is not present. Yeah, I will work it out in my mind, and straight away, I am seeing that this homozygous recessive is impossible. Right? This homozygous recessive is impossible to get with this cross. All right? You can get the homozygous dominant, you can get the heterozygous, but you cannot get homozygous recessive. All right? So, so 3 only. So 43, the answer is C. Yeah. Let's go down to question 44. They have a genetic cross, the inheritance of blood groups in humans. Alleles A and B are codominant, and both are dominant to O. But we know this, right? Blood groups is one of the things that we practice as well. Which of the following offspring inherited the homozygous recessive genotype? Which is to say, remember, O have to come twice because A and B are dominant to O. All right. So for it to be homozygous recessive, you need to have OO. So all you do is follow the lines. All you do is follow the lines and see which one. And it's N. So for 44, the answer is D. Okay. Which of the following is an example of genetic engineering? Yeah. And the only genetic engineering that your syllabus requires you to know is the production of insulin by E. coli bacteria. That's the one your syllabus literally tells you to learn. Right? They don't expect you to know all the various types, but they want you to know that one. So this question, these stem cells to produce organs, they did not teach you that tissue culture in banana production. The syllabus doesn't require you to know that cloning of high producing animals. Syllabus doesn't require you to know that. The only one you are required to know is D. Item 46 refers to the following diagram of a mother breastfeeding her baby. What kind of immunity is illustrated by the activity above? A mother breastfeeding her baby is a natural thing. It's a natural thing, meaning nature. So we know it has to be natural. So it means C and D that are saying artificial is already out. We know those two are wrong. And how does the baby receive the immunity? Passively. The mother did everything to produce it and just gave it to the baby. So that is passive, right? So we are going for 46, B, naturally acquired passive. Question 47. Beriberi is an example of a disease that is classified as hereditary, pathogenic, sexually transmitted nutritional deficiency. Has to be nutritional deficiency because beriberi is caused by a lack of vitamin B, right? When you don't have enough vitamin B in your diet, you end up with beriberi. Item 48 refers to the following diagram, which shows the stages in the life cycle of a mosquito. We have the adult at 1, the eggs at 2, the larva at 3, and Roman numeral 4 is the pupa. Which of the following stages are found in or on water? We know the eggs, the larva, and the pupa. We're all from the Caribbean, right? We are just about wrapping up rainy season. So we know this question very well. 2, 3, and 4 is the answer. We just looking for one that says that. Yes, D. 48 is D. So we see that diseases have come into play. I hope person see that from about 47, we started diseases, which is section D of the syllabus. So item 49 refers to the following information. We have caused by bacterium. Persons practicing poor hygiene are more susceptible. It can be fatal without medical treatment. It involves the formation of ulcers. Which statements are true about cholera? Yeah, and that's a 49. And you know that cholera is caused by Vibrio cholera. Yeah, so instantly that tells you something. All right, so bacteria, Vibrio cholera, nice. We roll in. 2, most poor hygiene. Yeah. All right, so far so good. Can be fatal without medical treatment. Yes. Involves the formation of ulcers. That sounds like the disease change. All right. So for 49, we are going with C. All right, because this ulcers kind of makes it another disease that is not cholera. So 1, 2, and 3, 49, C. Question 50. Which of the following cells does the AIDS virus attack? We have phagocytes, erythrocytes, lymphocytes, thrombocytes. Yeah. And I like this question. I like that they use the fancy words for all of them, right? Erythrocytes, thrombocytes, red blood cells, and platelets, and then the white blood cells, phagocytes, and lymphocytes. We know lymphocytes is the one that produces the antibodies, and the phagocytes, phago means eating. So that's the cell that does eating. So which one does it attack? It attacks the lymphocytes, the one that produces the antibodies. Yeah. Anopheles. And I like that they give away the answer by writing it in italics, right? The Anopheles mosquito is known for the spread of just one virus in your syllabus, and that is malaria. I tell students, just memorize this. Anopheles, malaria, everything else, Aedes. All the other mosquito viruses, Zika, dengue, chikungunya, Aedes, right? But Anopheles, malaria. So once you know that one, you by default know all the others. Which of the following statements about herpes is true? Herpes is caused by a bacterium. I thought herpes caused by the herpes simplex virus. But okay, so that obviously not true. Herpes does not affect fertility. Wow, STD that does not affect fertility. So obviously that is not true. There's no known cure for herpes. Ooh, that's true. The newborn child of a herpes sufferer cannot be infected. Well, that's false, right? So which of the following is true about herpes? We have to choose C if you want to get 52 correct. All right, let's see what we get here for 53. And 53, we see we are introduced into the final section for the syllabus, section E, where they talk about water pollution may be controlled by, is it educating the public and implementing laws, using nitrate fertilizers on crops planted near rivers, washing in rivers using detergents containing phosphates, or pouring sewage into rivers after bacterial decomposition. So we know to control water pollution, we want to choose A as our answer. Yeah. So as we getting into these last few questions, just to let you know, we will be back again tomorrow at about the same time, just after 9 o'clock there, to do some more practice, just to make sure you're prepared, you have the confidence, you are able and willing and wanting to get that one for human and social biology in the January 2025 HSB exams. So let's go on. Question 54. Which of the following measures should an individual utilize to control diabetes? Increase the carbohydrate intake? Well, that is against controlling diabetes. Adopt an active lifestyle? Yes. Lose weight? Yes. So 2 and 3 only. So 54 is C. 55, which of the following substances contribute to the excess growth of algae in waterways? We have nitrates and sulfates, nitrates and phosphates, carbonates and sulfates, carbonates and phosphates. Just take your time. Take your time and choose B. Right? Nitrates and phosphates. Yeah. Right? That's great for eutrophication, and algal bloom will surely happen if you use nitrates and phosphates. Recycling may best be defined as, like that best in capital letters, using a collected resource over and over in the same form. That sounds like not recycling, that sounds like reuse. Yeah. Repossessing a collected resource into new products. Yeah, that sounds like recycling. So straight away, we know the answer is B. Let's just read on as good practice. Reducing the use of a resource? No. Chemically altering a resource? No. So we're sticking with B. B is the answer for 56. 57, in the water cycle, water vapor enters the atmosphere by respiration from animals, transpiration from plants, precipitation from clouds. Ooh, that one was a really weird one, right? Precipitation from clouds mean the water is coming downwards, whether it's snow or rainfall or hail, right? So 3 is definitely wrong. 1 and 2 is our answer, so we are going with A. 58, in large-scale water purification, the formation of acid, which destroys organisms, is achieved by the process of this large-scale water purification. Acid means you needed to add some kind of chlorine to the water. So any word here with chlorine? Yes, C. Chlorination. Nice. That was a nice one for us to just collect and say, thank you, examiner. The most effective way of purifying water in the home, and this coming off of that question that it just asked, you better have chlorination in your answer. Yeah? So boiling and freezing, do chlorination? No. Filtering and freezing, do chlorination? No. Boiling and chlorination, oh, that sounds great. Chlorination and filtering, it sounds good, but not as great as the other one. So C. 59, the answer is C. And this final question, question 60 is always a kind of giveaway question. CSEC for HSB does always have a habit of doing that. The answer is really always really simple. Which of the following is an example of a non-biodegradable pollutant? It means a pollutant that is not broken down by nature. Is it lead, paper, cotton, or sewage? It's lead. 60 is always a kind of giveaway question for all the decades that I've been doing this. Question 60 is always a giveaway question. Yeah. Right. So that is the June 2024 paper that we looked at. How was it for you? Had you have done this exam, would you have aced it? Yeah. Do let us know in the comments how you are feeling going into the January 2025 exam. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as we will be encouraged to continue these videos and a whole lot more. Yeah. Do remember, for those of you who are actually doing the January 2025 paper 1 exam on Friday, the 17th of January, you can join the CXC to Go group, and that will give you practice under time management conditions to respond to these questions. So that happens at 7 a.m. AST on the WhatsApp group. So do join in. Use the link in the description to join. But I want to wish everyone an enjoyable afternoon. We look to call it an evening there. Do let us know how you fared with this paper. Bye, everyone.